What if everything you believe about time is wrong? What if the past never truly existed, the future is not waiting for us, and the present is all there has ever been? Welcome to Information World. Time feels so real that we build our entire lives around it. We wake up by it, age because of it, fear it, chase it, and measure our success with it. Seconds, minutes, hours, years. Time seems like the most fundamental structure of reality. But when we look deeper, when we ask physics, philosophy, and even neuroscience, a shocking idea begins to emerge: time may not be real at all. We usually think of time as something that flows. The past is behind us, the future is ahead, and the present moves forward like a river. But this idea of flow is strangely human. Nature itself never says that time is moving. There is no universal clock ticking for the universe. Instead, what we call time may simply be a way our minds organize change. Let's start with physics. In classical physics, time was treated as absolute. Isaac Newton believed time flowed evenly everywhere in the universe, independent of anything else. But this view completely collapsed in the early 20th century. Albert Einstein showed us that time is not fixed at all. It stretches, slows down, and speeds up depending on motion and gravity. Two people can experience different amounts of time depending on how fast they move or how close they are to a massive object. This alone is strange. If time were a fundamental reality, how could it behave differently for different observers? Imagine if distance or mass randomly changed depending on who looked at it. We would never accept that as real. Yet we accept time behaving this way because we are used to it. Einstein went even further. In his theory of relativity, time is not separate from space. Instead, space and time form a single structure called space-time. In this view, the universe is not something that evolves moment by moment. Instead, the entire history of the universe, past, present, and future, exists all at once as a four-dimensional structure. This idea is often called the block universe. In a block universe, time does not flow. Nothing moves from past to future. Every moment simply exists, just like every location in space exists. Yesterday still exists. Tomorrow already exists. You are not moving through time, you are simply experiencing one slice of a timeless structure. This raises a disturbing question: if all moments already exist, then is the future fixed? Physics does not give a clear answer, but it strongly suggests that the sensation of time flowing may not be a property of the universe itself. It may be a property of human consciousness. Now let's look at quantum physics. At the most fundamental level of reality, time almost disappears. Many equations that describe the quantum world work perfectly well without time being included at all. Some of the most important equations in physics treat time as irrelevant or symmetrical, meaning they work the same whether time goes forward or backward. This is deeply confusing because our everyday experience tells us that time has a direction. We remember the past but not the future. We see causes before effects. We grow older, not younger. This direction is often called the arrow of time. But where does this arrow come from? Surprisingly, it does not come from fundamental physics. It comes from thermodynamics, specifically entropy. Entropy is a measure of disorder. The second law of thermodynamics says that entropy tends to increase. Things go from order to disorder. Ice melts. Buildings decay. Stars burn out. We associate increasing entropy with time moving forward. But here's the key point: entropy increasing does not require time to be real. It only requires that states of the universe can be ordered from lower entropy to higher entropy. The feeling of time flowing may simply be the way conscious beings experience this ordering. In other words, time might be an illusion created by memory. You remember the past because the past has lower entropy records stored in your brain. The future has no records yet, so it feels unknown. The present feels like a moving point because your brain is constantly updating information. But this does not mean time itself is moving. It means your awareness is. Now let's step into philosophy. Philosophers have debated the nature of time for thousands of years. One of the most famous thinkers, Augustine of Hippo, said something astonishing. He said, "If no one asks me what time is, I know. If someone asks me, I do not know." Think about that. Time feels obvious until you try to define it. Does the past exist? Not anymore. Does the future exist? Not yet. Then what is time made of? If only the present exists, and the present has no duration, then time seems to vanish the moment we try to grasp it. Some philosophers argue that time is nothing more than a mental framework. Just as color depends on how our eyes and brains interpret light, time may depend on how our brains interpret change. Neuroscience supports this idea. Your brain does not experience time directly. It processes signals, compares patterns, and creates a sense of sequence. When certain brain regions are damaged, a person's sense of time can completely collapse. Seconds can feel like hours. Years can feel like moments. This means time is not something your brain observes. It is something your brain constructs. Even more fascinating, experiments show that the brain often decides what happened after it already happened, then creates the illusion that it knew in advance. Your sense of now is actually delayed by a fraction of a second, yet your brain hides this delay from you. So the present moment you feel is not truly present. It is a carefully edited version of reality, assembled after the fact. Now let's push this idea further. If time is not fundamental, what is? Some physicists believe that information is more fundamental than time. The universe may not evolve in time, it may simply contain relationships between pieces of information. Change does not happen in time. Instead, different configurations of information exist, and consciousness moves through them in a particular order. Others suggest that time emerges only when systems become complex enough. At the deepest level of reality, there may be no time at all, only a vast, timeless mathematical structure. This idea connects to something deeply unsettling: free will. If the universe is timeless, are our choices real? One possible answer is that free will does not require time to flow. Choices may exist as part of the structure of reality, just like mountains exist in space. You experience making choices because consciousness experiences different perspectives within the structure. Another possibility is that free will itself is an illusion created by the same mechanisms that create time. That does not mean your experiences are meaningless, but it does mean reality may be very different from how it feels. Now let's talk about death. If time is not real, then death may not be what we think it is. In a timeless universe, every moment of your life exists forever. Your birth, your childhood, your present thoughts, all of them remain part of reality. You do not vanish into nothingness. You simply stop experiencing new moments. From this perspective, you are never truly gone. You are eternally present at every point of your life. This idea is not religious, and it is not mystical. It is a logical consequence of a universe where time does not flow. Of course, this does not remove grief or loss. But it radically changes how we think about existence itself. Now let's ask the biggest question. If time isn't real, why does it feel so real? The answer may be simple and terrifying: because feeling time is useful. Evolution shaped our brains to survive, not to see reality as it truly is. A creature that can predict outcomes, remember past dangers, and anticipate future rewards has a massive advantage. Time is the interface our minds use to navigate change efficiently. Just like a computer desktop hides complex electrical processes behind icons and windows, time may hide the true structure of reality behind a simple, intuitive experience. And just like icons are not real objects inside the computer, time may not be a real object in the universe. So what does this mean for your life? It means the present moment may be more important than ever. If the past and future are mental constructs, then the only place experience truly happens is now. Not because now is moving, but because awareness is always anchored to one perspective. It also means fear of time running out may be misplaced. Time does not take things away. Change does. Entropy does. But the moments themselves are never erased. And finally, it means reality is far stranger, deeper, and more mysterious than our instincts tell us. Time feels like the most obvious thing in the world. Yet when we question it deeply, it dissolves into something abstract, emergent, and possibly unreal. Maybe time is not the river we are floating in. Maybe it is the map our minds draw to understand a timeless ocean. If this idea made you question reality even a little, then you're exactly where curiosity begins. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join us again here on Information World for more deep questions about the universe, reality, and existence itself.